Welcome to Brown's Neighborhood Podcast. We got brother Kemo in the house. As long as I've been knowing Kemo, I don't even know his real name. Kemo, let me ask you your real name. What's your full name, Kemo?
My name is James Philip Hall. Kemo.
Oh, James Hall.
Right.
Yeah.
Kemo is still James, but in Hawaiian language.
All right. So, James, where did you kind of grow up? You grow up in L.A.?
Yes. Well, I was born in Hawaii, but I grew up in L.A. from starting when I was like 3 years old.
You grew up in Hawaii?
Well, I was born in Hawaii.
You was born in Hawaii. You can sit back and relax.
Okay.
Mike gonna hear everything you say.
I was born in Hawaii in August the 4th, 1956. But my father was in the Navy for 22 years. He did 2 tours of duty in Hawaii. So we left. We left the first time I was like 6 months old. And then he had duty to go back, and so then I was when he went back, my sister was born next in 1962. So all in all,
was your sister born here?
No, she was born in Hawaii too.
Boy, what?
Yeah, my sister Tracy was too. But in between that, my brother Sheldon was born in Los Angeles.
Well, let me ask you a question. You was born in Hawaii, and once you left Hawaii, did you ever go back to Hawaii?
We went back. I went back again. I was about I don't know. I guess I was between 4 and 6 years old.
Oh, yeah?
Because when we came back, I remember when we came back the last time I was 9 and going to the 4th grade. So all that moving around, our military families are.
Right. So what when you got to Cali and you kind of got settled, where were you living at then?
Okay, when we came back when I was 9 in 1965, I was on 83rd in Normandy.
83rd in Normandy?
Yes, 83rd in Normandy.
Neighborhood was pretty cool?
The neighborhood was a lot different. It was slower. It wasn't no drive-by shootings. It wasn't no lot of murders. It was some crazy stuff that would happen. But in those days, you didn't have to worry about going down the street and being scared like you're gonna get shot going to the store to get your merchandise for your house.
Right. So was it a mixed area at that time?
At that time, it was whites, it was Hispanics, and it was blacks. It was so common to have a white friend or a neighbor. It was just the way life was. Because I had 2 white friends, Marvin and Jerry. They were Jewish.
Is that right?
Yeah, they were Jewish.
And after a while, they left.
They left. When the Crip gang came out in our area, they was getting robbed and beat up, so their parents got them out of here.
Wow. Mm-hmm. It was a change coming.
Right, it was a change coming.
With gangs.
With gangs.
Did you ever join a gang?
Oh, yes. Yes, I did. I joined the A-Trade Gangsters. They were a group that controlled the area where I was living at.
Well, let me ask you a question, brother. Why did you join a gang after coming from a military family,
right?
A father that's raising you right, growing you up to do right, and you had no reason to join a gang? What made you join it?
Well, what it was, I wasn't looking at the big picture. All my friends had got into A-Trade Gangsters, and we were underground Crips first. And my friend Ray, and I was 15. He said, "Kemo, we're not underground no more. We're A-Trade Gangsters." I said, "What does that mean, Ray?" He said, "83rd, Kemo." I said, "Oh." So I fell into something because all the guys that I was hanging around with since I was in the 4th grade, I was just following them, not thinking it through.
Let me say this here. What junior high you went to? So I'm a see something here.
Bret Hart.
You went to Bret Hart. Mm-hmm. Bret Hart was a pretty tough school.
Yeah, it was.
Even then?
Even then.
Were they gang banging then?
Yeah, they were gang banging.
Kemo, so let me ask you a question, brother. Was you a leader or a follower? And you give me the truth.
I was a follower.
Okay.
I was a follower.
So you started gang banging because you following other guys.
But following other guys.
Instead of being your own man, or your own kid or whatever at that time.
Right. I had the only thing that I could see when I was in the 7th grade, I didn't know anybody at Bret Hart. They were taking my lunch money going upside my head. And so
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
They were taking your money?
They were taking my 35 cents for lunch.
How much?
35 cents.
Well, that was, pretty good little change for a kid at that time.
Right, right.
So that happened in the 7th and the 8th grade. Were they still taking your money?
Nah, I was learning. I knew how to fight then, so I was just knocking. I was learning how to knock them down.
You wasn't knocking nobody out.
I was getting pretty strong. I took after my father because he was strong, and I believe, I was getting his strength because I was his son.
Right.
Yeah.
So you wasn't a little bitty dude. You was a pretty nice sized kid.
Right.
So you started holding your own.
Right. Instead of getting bullied around.
But them gangbangers were gonna get you.
Yeah. I was blessed enough. I had a few times where I did get whooped up pretty bad, thinking,
And how old were you when you got whooped up pretty bad?
I had got my first car, a Chevy Camaro, and I had a job with Parks and Recreations on the CETA program. And
okay, hold on, relax. So you get in the CETA program. First, you got out of Bret Hart, right?
Okay, I jumped too fast. I went to Washington after Bret Hart.
You went to Washington, and once you went to Washington, were you in a gang at that time?
Yeah, I was. The Washington High School. They used to call the school the Washington High School Crips.
Okay, so hold on. How old were you when you joined?
15.
15-year-old, about in the 10th grade.
Right.
You got to Washington.
Right.
You're following the other guys.
Right.
The only way I can keep them off me is to join with them.
Right.
But you wasn't a bad one.
No, I wasn't a bully.
You wasn't a bully, but you wasn't nobody that was going to be out there really squabbling. Fighting.
There wasn't nobody really mess with me because they heard I was strong, and they knew they didn't really want to mess with my strength. Is what the talk. I didn't put it out there. They were talking about it like that. I didn't really look at me like that, Mr. Brown.
Okay, I don't know. So did you join the football team?
Yes, I did. I joined the football team.
You put on a uniform?
I put on a uniform. I was on the JV varsity team.
You on the JV?
JV, yeah.
You put on a uniform, though?
Yeah.
You put the helmet on?
Put the helmet on. Yeah.
Boy, they was smacking you, wasn't they?
I didn't really feel. I liked to tackle. Getting hit didn't bother me. I liked the contact.
Well, did you like hitting?
Yeah, I did.
Not getting hit.
I like hitting.
Did you hit hard enough that they moved you to varsity?
Yes
or no, Kemo?
No, I didn't stay long enough to be. I left. I would never follow things through.
You wouldn't follow them through.
Right,
and you're still doing some of that today.
Right.
Okay, so you joined the team. You didn't want to act right on the team.
Right.
So you quit.
Yeah, yes, I quit.
You quit.
My family was mad at me. My brother used to come see me practice, and Mom's was mad. So she told on me when it was about 100 degrees, and I said, I'm not going to. And she said, Kemo, what you doing home? She came home through the front door, and she called the school.
You didn't want to go through the rigorous training.
Right, that's what it was.
So let's move on. You didn't want to go through the training. You done joined the gang. So if the gang got into something, were you gonna be down with them or you gonna run?
I was down with them.
Oh yeah,
I was down with them. What it was, we would protect the neighborhood where we were living. Is where
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. What did you have to protect? That's what I don't get. You protecting the neighborhood.
Yeah, my father said,
Kemo,
you guys keep this neighborhood square and don't no niggas come in here.
Man, look here, bro. There is nothing to protect. What do you mean you protecting the neighborhood?
We wouldn't let them dudes that come from the other streets or the other neighborhoods come in there and take over. We couldn't let them take over.
Wait a minute, man.
When you were a teenager, that's what it was.
Hold on. What group gonna come into your neighborhood and take over what?
Take over where we hang out at or where we go
so
to.
they just gonna come over, since y'all hanging in this area, we gonna take over so we can hang in this area?
If we didn't show no strength, they would have took over.
Well, we gonna move on. We gonna move on from that.
I mean,
we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
So now, did you graduate?
Yes.
So you did do good enough to graduate. Is that right?
Yeah.
Because your parents would have got you.
They weren't okay with it. They didn't like me smoking weed. They didn't like me hanging out late at night. I was going all the things that they didn't like.
So you didn't listen then?
I was hard headed.
You was hard headed.
I was hard headed. When growing up a teenager, why I don't know. The rest of my brothers, they weren't like that, but I was just different.
Everybody else was acting sensible, and you went and joined the gang, started doing drugs,
Right, weed,
smoking weed.
Yes, that's right.
In high school.
Yes,
But you did finish.
I did finish.
After you finished high school, you ready to enter the real world.
Right.
Did you have any direction you was going in?
When I went into the real world, I had no direction. I was still at home, not thinking about my future.
Not thinking about your future, just living on your mama.
Yeah, right.
Gang banging.
Well, I had got a job when I was after high school.
What kind of job did you get?
I got a job on. It was called the CETA government program.
Well, you don't get on the CETA program unless you do what?
Well, I had somebody in the office that got me in. My aunt Edith.
Listen to me. You don't get on the CETA program unless you are what? You don't just say, I'm going to go to the CETA program.
No.
Well, that's something offered through the county?
Yes, Parks and Recreations.
Well, how did you get to that? Were you going to the GR building?
No, I had an inside person helping me.
You had an
with my mother.
inside plug.
My mother, her and my mother were. It was from my mother's first marriage. My two older brothers' father, their sister, his sister. It's
We're not gonna go there because that's gonna get complicated.
Right.
So you had an inside plug to get a job through the CETA program.
Right.
I think my nephew's mother might have got a job through that CETA program. Anything like that?
I'm not sure.
You don't know nothing about that. Okay, you pay attention to me, Kemo.
Right.
Kemo, let me just let y'all know a little bit about Kemo. Kemo is one of my good participants down here at the center, and he wanted to be on the podcast, and I just wanted to let him get out here and express his life, right? Because he grew up good, he just got in trouble following people, right?
Right.
Okay, so now you get in the CETA program.
Okay. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You get you a park and rec job.
Yes.
Now you on the right track. Working.
Right.
Getting paid.
Right.
How long did you stay at the CETA on park and rec?
3 years.
3 years. You working, doing good. How old were you?
When I started?
Yeah.
18.
So you was there till 21. Why you didn't stay?
Well, I got fired. I messed up with the office. Well, actually, I falsified a doctor's excuse, and they found out about it.
He falsified a doctor's excuse because you missed work.
Right, my attendants. They told me not to do that. If I did it, I would have to get a doctor's excuse.
Let me ask you a question. Why did you miss work?
Being lazy, smoking weed, and not wanting to get up.
Hanging with them guys?
Hanging with the same group.
Hanging with the same group instead of going to work.
Since I was 9 years old. Right.
You didn't want to go to work. You want to hang out and smoke weed.
Right.
What kind of sense does that make? You got a good job.
Good job.
Park and rec. I want to let these kids know. Go get you a job, or parents let your kids know about park and rec jobs. Because that's a good job, and it can lead to bigger things. Right. But Kemo wanted to hang out with his friends and smoke weed. In that, you're hanging with your homies, and you got fired because of that.
Right.
Following them.
Yeah.
Why you couldn't be your own man, and then I'll hang out with y'all when I get off work.
Right.
Couldn't you? You couldn't. Let me go to work, because everybody wish they could get a job. You had a good job.
I had a job before anybody in the neighborhood. Any of my friends, they weren't working.
Yeah, you had a plug in.
Right.
And you went and disappointed everybody.
Man, everybody, parents just letting them down left and right. But I didn't let it mess with me. But when you think about it as you get older,
well,
you
let
know
me
more
ask a question, Kemo. You talk real good. You seem like you graduated and all of that. Let me ask this question. Do you have any mental challenges?
Mental challenges. You know what? I'm glad you asked me that. The only I thought I did.
Kemo?
I went to prison a few times, and
Hold on. Were you ever diagnosed with any mental challenges?
No.
Okay. So now you growing up, you lose the job. You just mentioned you went to prison.
Yes.
For what?
For petty theft.
Who go to prison for petty theft?
Well, it depends on how your record is.
Okay. Hold up.
Yeah.
When did you do your first crime?
My first crime, and what I did, my first crime, I think it was 1997.
I don't want to know the year. About how old were you?
41.
You did your first crime?
At 41, I didn't go to jail till I was like 41.
41.
Yeah.
You gonna go all through your 20s, all through your 30s, and into your 40s.
Right.
Before you go and commit a crime.
Right. I lost my home, my wife left, everything.
God, dog.
Because
Hold
I
on,
wouldn't
man.
want to listen.
Hold on.
Look,
You got you a wife. How old were you when you got a wife?
I got married at 29 years old. She was 9 years older than me.
You got married at 29, she was 38.
Right. Yes.
Okay, so
That's
we can
right.
let me work with this.
Yeah.
You lost your job, the cedar job at
Right.
21.
Right.
What did you do after that?
I went to work. I went to the Charles Duncan. I went to Prudential Maintenance and got a floor stripper job.
You went to what maintenance?
Prudential Maintenance.
Who told you about that?
I heard about it. I forgot what company was. I can't remember exactly. The only thing I remember, my supervisor's name was Sam Mall.
Okay.
A Jewish
so you
guy.
went down there. Did you fill that application out?
Yes.
And you got hired?
Got hired.
How long did you stay there?
I stayed there about Prudential and Charles Duncan Company about 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
How did you lose that job?
I didn't lose it. The county called me back for building services.
Hold on.
Well, not really called me back. I had the inside track again to get back on the county.
You be still in that chair, because you keep going from one side to another. You're making my eyes shift too much.
Oh, okay, I'll say it.
Yeah. So the county called you back?
No, not really. They didn't call me back, but I had an opportunity, inside office job again to get with building
Who
services.
gave you, who set that up?
My Aunt Edith.
Your mother?
My mother from my mother's first marriage. That was her sister-in-law.
So let me say this. They hooked you up the first time. Then you lost that job. Then you went and got a job stripping floors.
Yeah.
And then they hooked you up with another one.
Right.
So you had people helping you.
Yes.
You were blessed.
Yes. My whole life, really.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So now you went back to that
Building
county.
service. Right.
How long did you stay this time?
I stayed there 3 years.
3 years again.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened this time?
I left. I went to go work with my dad. I just quit. They couldn't believe it. I said, man, I must be tired of doing janitorial work or something. I got to go.
You going to leave a job
Mm-hmm.
that's making decent money with the county.
Right.
And you going to tell them, I'm going to go work with my dad.
Right.
That's going to pay you under the table.
No, I made more money with Pop. I wasn't.
But how did you get paid? Did you get paid through a company?
No, I was working for the company.
You was working for what company with your dad?
It was called the King Corporation with metal and steel company. They would make steel pallets for different. They would sell them to different stairs and everything.
So your dad said, you could come work with me.
He kept coming over. I was staying with my kid. Kemo, you need a better job than that. That ain't shit. You need something better. He kept bugging me to leave.
But the county was good.
I know.
Not as hard labor.
Right. I was working hard. Boy, sometimes I worked 12 hours a day.
But when you went to the steel company,
man, they paid me good once a week.
They paid you good.
Once a week.
When did you meet your wife?
I met my wife. I met Lois and let's see.
No, how did you meet her?
Well, I met her. She moved on the street down the street from where I was staying. I had a family with my daughter and her mother and her two brothers.
Wait a minute, man. You don't start confusing me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
How did you meet did you have kids before you met your wife?
I had a daughter.
Okay, hold on. When did you meet that woman with the kid?
Oh, what my wife? Oh,
Slow down, slow down. The woman you got a child with, did she become your wife?
no, I never married her.
Okay. When did you meet the woman? What's the woman name you got a child with?
Lorraine.
Lorraine. When did you meet Lorraine?
I met her when I was 16. She was 26.
When you was 16, you met Lorraine and she was 26.
Yes.
And you started going with her?
Yes. I hid from my parents because they didn't want me to mess with her because she was too old for me.
So, were you screwing Lorraine when you were 16?
Yes.
So you started having sex in high school?
Yes.
And how long did you stay with Lorraine?
13 years.
You stayed with Lorraine 13 years?
Yes. Took us 9 years to have a baby.
So you was with her for 9 before you had the child?
Yes.
So you was living with her?
Uh-huh. Yes.
So you was living with her and still hanging out with the homeboys?
It's the same group.
And you got a woman at the house?
Yes.
You was spread it thin.
Right. And had other women in the streets, too.
You did?
Yeah, I had a lot of women.
What made you have a lot of women?
I thought that was the way to live. You can't just have one. You got to move around.
And Lorraine kept you knowing that you was doing that?
She knew it. She knew it, but she said, Kemo, you got to stay home sometime. Give me and your daughter a chance.
Let me say this, bruh. What woman 10 years older than you stay with you and you out there hoeing?
Right. Mr. Brown, when I was young, I didn't think things through. I would just react.
Women liked it you like that?
Yeah.
I mean, what did they like about you? What were you doing?
I remember 4 women liked me in the apartment building. I don't know why that happens to me all the time. I said they look at me like I'm the best looking. I don't know. I don't pay them no attention. I don't know why.
Did you have any money?
I had $15,000 one time. That's how I got lowest because I had 3 cars. I had a B210 Datsun, I had a 72 Ford Econoline van. Then I bought a K-Pod Silverado Blaze.
Hold on. God, no.
I had money.
Where you get this money at?
Workman's. I got hurt my knee, and I got workman's compensation.
On what job?
At the Hilton Hotel. I worked at the Hilton too.
Wait a minute, man.
I had a lot of jobs.
How old were you when you started working for the Hilton?
I was like 26.
Okay, hold on. Stop this. So now you met Lois at 16.
Lorraine.
Lorraine at 16.
They stayed 3 doors down from my parents' house, her parents. That's how I met her on the block.
So these women stayed 3 doors from each other?
Yes.
Sit back.
Yeah.
Sit back. So now you a young man, you was dating, so she was really what they call that when you with a youngster? You know, if a man is with a 16-year-old and he 26, he molested? So she was molesting you?
I thought it was fun, but I was drunk all the time and loaded off weed. I wasn't even, and it was the first time I started having sex.
When you started drinking, man?
I started drinking in high school. I was drinking, I started with beer with those tall boys.
Yeah, so you was drinking and smoking weed.
Yeah.
But you kept a job.
I always worked.
All right.
I always worked.
All right. So you stayed with this woman for 13 years. 13
years, yes, sir.
And what made you leave her?
I left her for Dolores. I fell in love with Dolores, man. She used to do, Dolores was a hairdresser. She used to do my hair. It was blocked from my apartment where she would.
She was doing your hair?
Yeah, she started doing my hair.
What she was doing in your hair?
The Jerry curls.
Yo, you had you a Jerry curl.
Mm-hmm.
Thought you was cute. You thought you were, what you want me to say, good looking? You was a good looking brother?
Don Juan. Yeah, I was. I look like mom and pop. They're good looking people. I got it from them.
Well, you, how old are you, 68?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I mean, with all the stuff you done been doing,
yeah,
your skin still look pretty good. And if you if you didn't do all what you be doing, you'll be all right. But we gonna get there.
Okay.
Because talking to you, I be reverse, forward.
But you're finding out who I am. You're doing good. You didn't know all this stuff.
No, I didn't.
You didn't know.
So hold on. You seen Dolores, right?
Yeah, ooh, man,
She was what?
she was fine. Dang, she was so fine.
And
She was so pretty, man.
She made you leave the woman you had.
I couldn't believe it. I didn't mean to. She said, don't leave me, don't leave me.
And you left.
And I left anyway. I was crying because I missed my daughter. I was crying, hiding in the bathroom from her. I was crying because I missed Jamie. It wasn't easy.
And Dolores took you.
Yeah.
You started going with her.
Yeah, I married her.
You married her?
I married Lois. We got married twice in 1 week. You can ask me what happened.
Wait a minute.
Ask me what happened. You can just tell me. I'll tell you what happened.
Hold on, bro. How could you get married twice in 1 week?
We went downtown, then my mother wanted to have a surprise wedding for us at her house. I didn't have the heart to tell her I was already married. So I just did it twice. I said, Lois, we got to get married. She said, Kemo, we already married. I said, we got to do it again, Mama. I said, if I would have told her we married, that sounded like her heart would have broke. That's how close we were. We were real close.
So how old were you when you started messing with Dolores?
29.
Dolores. You started seeing Dolores at 29. Mm-hmm. Were you working?
I was working at the airport Hilton Hotel. I helped open it up. It wasn't even open when I got hired.
So how did you get hurt at the Hilton?
Hurt?
Yeah.
Oh, I was working in timekeepers area where they come in and punch in for the clock, and I was clowning, and the chair I reared back, man, and tore my knee. Was like it was ripped.
And how old were you then?
I think I was about 27.
27?
27.
So you were still with your baby's mama?
Yeah, I was still with us. I was right. When I got the money, yeah. Right.
So you was with the baby's mama when you got the money?
Yes.
So you started getting cars and...
Yeah, I had, right.
You ain't never had that much money before?
No.
And you just went crazy?
Yeah, I went crazy.
Just spending the money?
Right. Then
spending the money?
Just spending the money.
Because you wasn't with the Hilton no more?
I went back.
They let you back after you done sued?
Yeah, they let me come back.
And how long did you stay there?
That's a good question. I stayed there 3 years. I stayed there 3 years.
Okay.
3 years.
So when you started seeing Dolores, were you still working at the Hilton?
Yes.
Did you still have any money?
Yes.
From that money?
That money, when I met Dolores, I still had money when I met her. That's probably why she liked me, because I had cars and money. She said, you know why? I couldn't see that.
You couldn't see it?
I couldn't see that, why she liked me so much. I said, damn, this
what lady don't like a man with money?
It was wearing me out.
All women like men with some money. He can be an ugly man and she'll like him, you know.
Yeah.
Huh, Buddha?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
He can be big and black like me.
Right.
Huh? Buddha?
Yeah.
Man, come on, baby. Hey, so you got with her.
Yeah.
And she was doing hair.
Right.
And you got married to her.
Yes.
Was that woman still living down the street with your child?
We moved. I got us a single apartment on the Century in Beaufort at the Khalil Apartments.
Because I had to get on what?
On Century in Beaufort.
What city is that? Inglewood?
Inglewood, yes.
So you moved on over to Inglewood.
Yeah,
How long did you stay with her?
About 21 years, but we were...
Wait a minute, man. Hold on.
But we were separated most of the... I stayed under...
Hold on, Kemo.
Yeah.
You was with her when you got 29.
Uh-huh.
Y'all had this relationship. You was married.
Mm-hmm.
How long were y'all together before you separated?
11 years.
And why did you separate?
Because I got on that crack and just quit working. I changed. I wouldn't help
How old were you when you got on crack?
Me and her got on it together. I was 29, but she liked to party off of it. But she wouldn't do it all the time.
How old were you when y'all started doing it together?
When we met, 29, yeah.
So when you met her, y'all met doing crack.
We were smoking Primos. We weren't on the pipe, but it led to the pipe.
Let me ask a question. You had a woman with a child. Was she on drugs?
No.
She wasn't doing no drugs.
No.
Then you met Dolores.
Mm-hmm.
Were you doing drugs before you met Dolores?
Not that. No.
You were just
Oh, you know what? A few years before that, I was snorting cocaine every once in a while, so it was leading to that.
Okay, you were snorting, but then we're not talking about snorting. When you met Dolores, was you smoking crack? Yes or no?
Yeah, I had just started. We both started about the same time.
And I'm going to ask the question again, because I need to know this. When you started dating her, were you smoking it already? Bag up off that mic.
You know what, Mr. Brown, from what I can remember, we did it. We started doing it together.
Okay, so
From what I can remember anyway, yeah.
So one of y'all might have introduced it to the other.
She liked it, but she was with me and she said, Kemo, it's good to have sex on this. This is good for sex. And that's what made her like it so much. And I said, it does. I didn't even think about it like that. I said, she hit me to that.
So it sounds like she the one introduced it to you.
She made it look like it was okay for us to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Listen to me. So she the one was pushing the crack.
Right.
To do the crack.
Right.
Because she said she want to do the nasty.
Right.
And so you fell for it.
I fell for it.
So you start smoking it more and more.
And getting sick.
How did you get
I
sick?
started having seizures.
From that crack?
Yeah.
You didn't have no seizures before that?
No, not at all.
Well, did you think you were smoking too much?
Yeah, because I knew my family didn't like it. I'd get nervous and panicky because my family comes from a spiritual family. And, you know, moms would say, everybody was, and I couldn't really, it made me nervous.
What?
It made me nervous, man. I said, why am I doing this? I don't care about pussy. Sex that much, it's making me I don't feel right. And I would fall out. I'd have a seizure on Lois in the motels, and she would have
Why you going to a motel if you got y'all married?
Well, she had Jackie and her son was staying with us, Lois's daughter, grandson, so we wouldn't do nothing. I'd be everywhere.
You wouldn't do nothing in the house?
I would try to sneak, but it was an uneasy feeling doing
Why
that.
was it? Did y'all had your own room, didn't you?
Yeah, I still felt paranoid.
Why you gonna feel paranoid if the door locked?
Because I was a scary motherfucker, probably.
You was scary?
Yeah, I had to be if I was smoking. That made me
how
scary.
You gonna be in a gang and all that and you scary?
No, the dope made me scary. It changed my personality, a punk out of me. And I hated that. I hated that shit.
Wow.
It would change my personality. I would go up against a brick wall. Then it made me want to run. I was tired of running. It made me a punk out of me, and I got tired of that shit.
What?
I said, fuck this shit. And I kept going, and I kept going, and I kept going. Running my life off, fucking my life off with that bullshit.
That crack.
Yeah.
And Lois was with you.
Yeah, but Lois would do it, but she wouldn't do it that much. Because she had to go to the hair salon and work. Say, Kemo, I have grandkids. I can't be losing everything I got. She already lost that with her other relationship, everything she had in the valley. So she didn't want to go through that shit no more because he started going to,
But once you started,
yeah,
you just couldn't stop.
I couldn't stop. Why? I don't know, Mr. Brown. I don't know. Was I trying to kill myself? It sounds like I was. I didn't even care, I guess, about dying. I don't know why I was depressed. I know I missed my daughter, but it was a lot of things I didn't think was right in my life. And it seemed like I would just run from responsibility and get deep into my life. You know how you got to the jobs, after a while, I worked all the way. I helped open the Bonds Pavilion on Manchester.
The what?
The Bonds Pavilion on Manchester, that big Bonds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The one in England?
Yeah. Help open. I opened up 3 of them. The one by Santa Anita Racetrack.
What were you doing?
Security.
You were doing security.
By that time, I just started doing security jobs. I wouldn't do nothing else but that.
Right. So the other jobs, you just really lost them.
Right.
The crack made you lose your jobs.
Right. My life.
All them good jobs you had, crack took over and made you lose them.
Right.
Till you started doing security.
Right.
Were you still with her when you was doing security? Y'all still was together, and you would be doing more crack than her now.
Right.
So this is the thing I want to know.
There you go. Yeah.
When you got 41, What made you start doing petty theft?
Well, what happened was me and Lois separated. She said, Kemo, she left. The rent was $775.
I want to ask a question. Lois said, Kemo, you got to go.
No, she said, I'll come back to you if you go to a program and quit doing the same thing. I couldn't do it. I would go to the program and come out and do the same shit, getting high again.
So you went to a program while you and Lois were still together.
Right. I went to a few, and she
You
supported
went to a
me.
few.
She supported me and everything.
Wow, so she was still trying to hang addicted.
Right, right.
And smoking and going to rehab and coming back.
Right.
She was functional then.
Yeah, yeah. She would like to go take me to the movie, the Magic Johnson Theater.
She was still doing drugs, but she was functionable.
When I was in the program, she wasn't doing it. She was addicted to codeine number 4s, but she didn't.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, she was.
How long was she doing codeine number 4s?
A few years.
You had to stay still in that chair, Kemo.
Her leg started hurting doing hair, and she would work 12 hours. She had to have it for the pain, for her legs to work.
And got addicted.
Yeah.
Got addicted to them codeine.
Yeah.
And how long, man? We don't leave that alone. She got addicted to the codeine.
Right.
And she was smoking a little crack.
Yeah. It didn't affect her. It didn't make her sick. She enjoyed it when she did it.
Some people are just stronger than others.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly. Their system.
And some people can function off things better than others.
Right. Right.
But see, you didn't know this.
No.
But I'm going to tell you what you had.
Okay.
You had a very addictive spirit. When you start doing something, you can't cut it off. I mean, she could stop.
Right.
She might do it again, but she was able to manage it.
Right.
It wasn't no manage. You was going to rehab, get back out. As soon as you get out, you start smoking again.
Go back to the rehab.
Go back to rehab, get back out.
Go back again.
Start smoking again.
Go back again.
So now you're doing that.
Right.
What made this first petty theft?
Because I couldn't pass the piss test, and I wasn't giving myself enough time to rest to pass the piss test. So I said, fuck it.
What?
I mean, working no goddamn more.
You didn't want to work no more?
Nope. And then I started going to jail.
Wait a minute. First time you went to jail, what did you do?
What was I? I know, I can't remember exactly which. I had so many damn instances with them security. I know 7 of them jumped on me at the bonds I helped open up because I wouldn't get his stuff back, and there was 7 of them that they beat me down pretty good.
You wouldn't get what back?
Their shrimp. I used to steal shrimp, tequila, steaks.
And you was working there?
Before. But I started when I couldn't work no more. I went to the old stores where I worked at to steal.
And you were stealing alcohol and
shrimps. Boy, people don't.
Where were you putting it at?
In my pants legs, and then people with the nuns from the Catholic Church, ministers and everything. People that go to church would buy the shrimp. Whoa, this is a good deal. I even went to church. They would upstanding citizens in the neighborhood, but they would buy stolen goods from me.
They did?
Yeah. You wouldn't know. They don't care when they want a good deal. Even my friends, Ray's mother, Miss
You
Morrow.
Be still.
Yeah.
You moving so much, you scare me. So now you're doing a lot of stealing out of stores.
At that time, yes.
What sent you to jail the first time?
Because they was letting me go at first for doing it. But then I had too many attempts to steal. It's to start building up. You know, they give you...
Were you going to getting any citations or anything?
Yeah, I would go to jail for a few days. The judge let me out.
And you did that several times?
Several times, right.
Then the next time, he gave you time.
Right.
How much time did he give you?
He gave me 16 with half, and I went to Lancaster.
You got 16 months.
And I did half. 16
months or 16 years?
16 months.
You got 16 months. Mm-hmm. What jail was you in?
Lancaster prison.
That's the name of it?
Uh-huh.
And you did how much time?
About almost about 9 months.
9 months and you got out?
Got out, right. Went right back.
You went right back?
In a month.
In 1 month?
Because I didn't know you had to report to parole, and they caught me on the streets. They said, come here. They was on another call, and they told me to come here, and they took me to jail, and I had the same judge that gave me the time before in Inglewood. He said, you don't know, Mr. Yeah, he gave me the same time again. The same judge. I went right back in a month.
Got another 16 months.
Right, in 1
With
month.
half.
Right.
So you did another 8, 9 months.
Yes, right back to back.
When you got out this time.
When I got out this time, what made me go back, I was still doing the same old thing, but they sent me to Calipatria.
Wait a minute. You were doing the same old thing like what?
Okay.
Did you go to the same store?
No, I would go to the same store. The same store. Actually, I ain't going way out there. I'm going somewhere close.
Hey, now look here, man. Look here, man. Whoa.
Is that boy?
Whoa. Hey, you say you didn't have no mental problem. But at this point,
you got to say I did.
Something gotta be triggering you to go back in the same store and then go back to jail again.
Go back to jail again.
So the third time, where did you go?
What prison?
Yeah.
I went to Wasco.
You went to what?
Wasco.
Wasco?
Mm-hmm.
Went to Wasco prison. How much time you get this time?
2.5.
Now you get 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that half was saving you, wasn't it?
Right.
You done a year.
I ended up being the lead cook and the minister, the head minister on the yard.
So now
I'm trying to get myself together then.
Trying to get together. Now we gonna keep rolling. You get out again.
Right.
What did you get into after that?
What it was, the crack started leaving me. And then it stopped. I did a little. I said, man, I'm not going back in those stores. That's what saved me. Then I was staying with my mother. My sister asked me to come back home because mom was starting to lose her memory. They needed me to help with mom. I wasn't even going to go back home, but I went. I got off parole at mama's. And
how long was parole? A year?
I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. They were nice parole. They didn't even bother me that much.
So
let's go,
you got off parole because you started doing right.
Right. Because I'd never been back home.
You just didn't get caught.
No, I didn't go back in the stores.
You left that alone.
I can't tell you why it happened like that, but it happened.
Let me ask you a question. Did you go back to jail anymore after that?
No.
So you ain't been back no more?
It's been 16 years.
Okay. So you didn't go back no more?
No.
Okay. You sure?
Right, I'm sure.
After that third time?
Right, I didn't go back.
You didn't go back?
I didn't go back. I got tired of going to jail. I started working on my own, doing windows at Jack in the Box and everything.
Hold on. So you get out, you back at mom's house, helping out. You remember something?
Yeah.
What you remember?
I remember my mother's friends, Miss Jackson and Mimi, they lived on the block. Said, Kemo, you're not going back to jail. So they got me jobs in the neighborhood, doing lines, cutting trees. And then that kept me from going to the stores.
Were you still claiming any gang at that time?
No, I gave that up.
You left the gang alone?
Yeah. I knew them all, but it wasn't
so now you're like 40-something years old.
Right.
So you 40-something. You want to tell me something?
Oh, you mean when I was telling you I didn't go back to jail? Yeah, I was 40-something. I was trying to remember. No, I was in my 50s. Early 50s when I quit going to jail. When I got off parole.
When you got off parole?
I was like 52.
So when you got out, you're in your 40s, and then you might have got 2 years parole, 1 year.
Yeah, right. Yeah, on May Avenue. They had me there on May Avenue.
You was on May Avenue?
I was on May Avenue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know exactly where you were.
With a lot of Spanish families over there.
Mm-hmm. I stayed on 85th in May.
Oh, yeah? Oh, okay.
And that parole office was on 81st in May.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where all the convicts was going for parole.
Right.
So you didn't go no more.
I didn't go no more, Mr. Brown.
So you start just doing jobs around the house.
Around on the neighborhood, 3 blocks over. I had about 10, 15 customers at it.
Okay.
Yeah, we started
So
building
let
up.
me ask you this question, Kemo. Did you stop doing crack?
Uh-huh.
What did you start using after crack?
Well, my friends introduced me to that other stuff, that meth. But it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that kind of...
Kemo, what drug did you start using after crack?
About a year later, I started on meth. Because I was what
they call it?
What? This is meth. Methamphetamine.
Crystal meth?
Oh, crystal meth, yeah.
Crystal meth.
Crystal meth. I liked it because it was good.
Just stay like that. You go to moving so much, you scare me now.
I like the fuck off of it. That's why I like the crystal meth.
Wait a minute, bruh. Is that true?
That's true. But yeah.
So crystal meth made you horny?
Yeah. I'm sorry, what's your expression? Well, you cracking me up.
Boy. Oh my God. So crystal.
I'm sorry. Okay,
So let me ask you a question.
I'm gonna shut up. Okay.
No, crystal meth made you a freak.
Man, want to look at the pornos, and them young girls on the pornos. But I know it's wicked. It's a trick from the devil. I know it ain't right, but when you own it, you ain't thinking about that. You want to, damn, boy, who could? Oh man, stuff like that. Wish I could find some. How you.
So you're looking at pornos and stuff.
Right.
Were you screwing women and all that?
Yeah, I was. When I was younger, I was screwing shit quite a bit. Tried quite a few of them.
No, we talking about when you started on crystal, right?
Right.
So you own that crystal, and then now you would be going places where there's a house full of people smoking crystal.
House full of people. I ended up going with a prostitute and all that shit. On Figueroa, Shay. She was.
You was going with her?
Yeah.
Or you just had sex with her?
Shit, I was going over there all the time. The dudes on Figueroa didn't like me because they said I stayed in the house too long. But I said, damn, do I have a prostitute that's my girlfriend? I said, damn, do I like her that much? I was questioning myself.
She smoked the crystal too?
She liked it. She might like to crack mostly, crystal.
So you was smoking crystal and she smoking crack.
Right. Every time I go over there, she'd take her clothes off.
On crack?
Yeah. Waiting for me.
You was bringing the dope?
I would buy, give her and her mother. Her mother liked to crack too. She was my age, her mother.
God.
But she wasn't in it. She wasn't with us. She stayed in her own room, but she liked to get high. But she wasn't with me and Shay.
So that
she
was
nice.
That was like a little dope house or something?
No, well, it was their house. It was their house.
But you was with her.
Yeah.
And she smoking crack and you smoking crystal.
I met her because I hadn't had no sex for a while. And that's how we met.
How long was it before you say you ain't had it for a while?
Yeah, I had a break. I was staying in your building the first time I stayed in your building. When the Dodgers won the World Series that year, 2022. I took a break because Lois died. My girlfriends were dying. And
you took a break from sex?
Yeah, 4 of my girlfriends died.
How long did you take a break?
When Red and all of them passed away, it was like, I don't know, man. It was like 2 years. That's when it slowed down. Hold
on. Yeah. You took a 2-year break from sex.
Yeah, because my girlfriends died. It was 4 of them.
You just took 2 years off.
Right.
Well, you didn't talk to women or nothing?
Well, I was so high sometimes I was just working.
So you were just doing drugs.
Yeah. And
so where you going to those?
Working.
You was going to those spots where people is doing drugs?
Yeah. Over my partner, well, I thought he was my friend. Over the people I knew.
So there'd be women and men in there getting high?
Yes.
And you knew them?
Yes. The girl I like now, she's been around me for 30-something years.
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying when you went in the drug house, it was men and women in there doing drugs.
Right.
And some of them in there having sex.
Right.
And you looking at them.
I wasn't looking at what it was. The girl that I liked.
I said answer the question. Did you see him screwing?
No, I didn't see him screwing.
They was in the room by themselves?
Yeah, I didn't see him screwing.
They didn't walk around naked?
Nah, it wasn't like that there.
You just knew it was going on in the house?
I knew it was going on.
But you didn't do nothing?
I don't know, maybe a couple of times, but it wasn't like it was.
I said, were you doing anything?
Yeah, every now and then.
So you started doing something?
Yeah.
Were you paying for it?
With dope and money, yeah.
So when you would have sex, you had to give them dope or money?
Right. I would do it anyway because that's what I wanted, the pussy.
You wanted to...
the pussy.
You wanted to have sex.
Yeah. Crystal intensifies sex, but it'll kill you too because I think it plugs you up your body. It's not good for you. Eventually, it's going to get you because of the stuff that they put in it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yes. And the fentanyl is out too. You could get some fentanyl, and you might not, and just a little crumb. I understand.
And you don't know if it's in it or not.
Exactly.
You just been blessed that he didn't have none.
Right.
Because it'd have been then killed you.
It would have been killed me.
So
I mostly give it away, Mr. Brown, because I said, man, fuck, damn, this pipe is full. Came out and said, yeah, you can have that motherfucker. I got Mr. Brown waiting on me in the morning. I got to get some sleep. That's what I tell him. I said, man,
Mr. Brown waiting on you.
Nah, I just be talking shit, you know. I said, I got to go to work.
Well, you going to lie on Mr. Brown?
Nah, I said, I got to go to work in the morning. I said, I tell him about you. I said, he always gives me a chance, and I want to get along with him.
So, Kemo, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How old were you when you got on SSI?
That's a good question. Let's see. I got on Social Security first.
You got on Social Security from your job?
Yeah. They helped me in the office.
Kemo,
What?
I need to know this.
What?
How old were you when you started getting...
63, I think. 63.
No, not how old you... How old were you when you started getting, a check from Social Security or SSI?
62.
You was getting a check that young?
Yeah, because I got tired of GR. It was too low. I put in for it, man. My brother helped me get it.
Chemo?
Yeah, I was 62.
Oh, you was 62?
Yeah.
Oh, boy, you finna make me think you was crazy like you.
I was at home. I told Sheldon, man,
so you was 62 when you started getting Social Security.
You're right.
How did you get, right today, do you get Social Security or SSI?
I get Social Security.
You don't get SSI?
Yeah, I get that too.
So you get a big check and a little.
Yeah, I use the whole Social Security check to pay you, and I had to use $100 out the other check to pay you. So I had to put all that together. So most of my checks are just to pay the monthly rent. I don't have that much left. And I pay my phone bill $70 a month, $75 a month for my tablet and the.
So
and
most of
Metro.
your money go for your rent.
Right. I got to really make sure I don't overspend.
Well, okay. So now you started getting SSI and a little Social Security around 62.
Right.
And how old are you now?
68.
You're 68. So you've been getting it about 6 years.
Right.
Okay. So now all this is going on.
Right.
Chemo, are you going to get your life together or what you going to do?
I am because I want to. And I know, I talked to God, he has me crying. He has me crying so much by myself. I said, I ain't never cried this much. So he's working on my spirit because I said, I can't do this by myself. You got me here. I'm tired of this shit. I don't talk to him. I don't say shit. But I'm tired of living like this. I'm tired of stressing.
So this is my question.
Yeah.
You're doing crystal, right?
Yeah.
Do crystal keep you up all night?
Yeah, but it's not something that I live and die for.
I didn't ask you that.
Yeah.
I asked you, when you use that drug, do it keep you up longer than you want?
Yeah, yes.
How long do it keep you up?
It keep you up all night, or maybe a day. Sometimes I go 2 days without sleep.
So crystal will keep you up for 2 days?
Yeah. I lay down. I go get me a burger or something, some fries. Try to eat something to make me. I heard my friend Milton told me, Kemo, you got to make yourself go to sleep. I ain't never learned that. But a lot of guys on their crib, they know how to go to sleep, Mr. Brown. They train themselves. I guess it's the way you do it so you go to sleep.
So they training themselves to go to sleep.
Right. He said they said you got to make yourself go to sleep. I never learned that.
So are you at the point where you're ready to change your life?
Yes, because drugs make me nervous. I can't exist on it. I don't know. And then, the way they tell me to do stuff, I don't even know how to do it. Why am I doing it? I don't even know the secrets of rest. You know what I'm saying?
So if you knew the secrets of rest, you would keep doing it?
Nah, I probably would. Oh, I doubt that.
Chemo.
I like doing it, but I don't love it. I'm not in love with crystal.
Well, if you like it, then you'll keep going. You keep doing it.
All that watching the pornos and all that shit.
You still doing that?
Well, you sound like my dad. And I'm old.
You still doing that?
No, man. I was
Chemo.
What?
Are you still looking at porno?
No, I really don't look at it. I don't even like it no more. I said, what the fuck? I said, I can't even touch the girls. it's frustrating looking at him. I'm
Because
not.
you ain't got no woman with you while you're looking at him.
Well, I got a friend now, and I gave her some money last night, and she usually comes back, and I've been worried about it and worried about it. I didn't want to come here, but I wanted to make it here. I said, Kemo, whatever you go through, you're worried about it. I'm in love with her because I've been knowing her for 40 years. And I don't know what happened, made me like her so much, Mr. Brown. I said, what the hell am I doing? And the dudes...
Well, maybe you like her because you don't want to be lonely.
Yeah. And she treats me nice. She's
I mean, she's nice to you.
Yeah, she's
because
nice.
you got some money.
She got a little old shape on her I like too. I really like her.
And you've been knowing her a long time.
About 40 years. She done seen all my relationships. She said, Kemo, they like you over there too. She would say that down through the years, you know.
So are you going to make any changes?
Yeah, I'm making some changes of leaving the drugs alone. I'm working on leaving them. I told Daphne one day, I said, if you want to go out and still do it, I can't keep doing it with you. I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah. We're going to get out of here.
I'm getting tired, yeah.
Do you take any mental medication now? What medication are you on?
They give me stuff for diabetes. They said I'm on the borderline.
So you're on borderline. That's the only medicine you're taking.
Right. They took the high blood. They won't get no prescription.
Well, why you on SSI just because you just retired and they just paying you?
What? Well, when they get examined,
or is it a disability or what?
What? Why am I getting it? They didn't claim it as a disability. They just claimed it as my back. They examined my back when I got that on 18th and Western. That SSI place before you get it. Mm-hmm. I didn't get no back pay or nothing.
So we gonna X out. Yeah. Kemo don't have no mental condition.
No, I'm all right. I've just been using stupid ass decisions, not giving a fuck about myself. Now I know.
You be doing some crazy stuff.
Because I'm crazy.
Well, why do you gonna get no medicine for crazy?
They haven't been diagnosed. No, I'm not crazy. I just make the wrong decision, Miss Brown. I'm not crazy. A guy gave me good sense. He wants me to work for him, and man, I don't talk to hundreds and hundreds of people, probably thousands now, because he gave me the gift to speak. And when he speaks, he wants me to put his word out through us, to you, everybody in the world. He uses all of us to put his word out in one way or another. And I'm one of the ones.
All right. Well, that's Brother Kemo. His name is James Hall. And he's not a bad guy at all. He just done made a lot of bad decisions. He comes down here to the Brownstone Wellness Center. He helps out, clean up, do all kind of things, keep things going. But we just need to pray for him. You know, pray for him that he can leave those drugs alone. Yes. It's been going on a long time, and he still got, decent health. I mean, he rides that bike everywhere. We just need to just pray for him. But he wanted to come on this podcast, and Brown Neighborhood podcast, we don't discriminate. So we just want to tell God thank you for the Brown Neighborhood podcast. Kemo do look good, though. Now, if he got that grill together, he'd look even better. But right now, just looking at you, you're not a bad-looking guy. You 68?
Yeah.
68 years old. We just hope that he can get it together before it's too late. It's enough in just taking care of yourself as we get older. Mm-hmm. Now, all those drug stuff just makes it just that much harder. Yeah. But we want to thank God. We always say, we let God know how grateful we are for letting us have this Browns Neighborhood podcast. And we going to get out of here. But we want to say, God, thank you for another episode of the Browns Neighborhood podcast. We want to thank Kemo for coming on and sharing his testimony of life.
Thank you.
And we just want him to get better. Whereas we want to get better.
Yes.
So God, thank you again. Until next time, God bless.